Hello, I will be doing my math second quarter performance task about direct, inverse, and partitive proportion. First, we will be talking about direct proportion. So, what is direct proportion? In direct proportion, as one quantity increases or decreases, the other quantity increases or decreases at the same rate and vice versa. For example, 2 limousines can transport 40 people. How many limousines are needed to transport 80 people? Step 1. We need to identify the quantities used in the problem. Now, it's given here we can transport 40 people in every 2 limousines. And for every 80 people, we are still looking for it. That's why let's put first letter N. Now for the next step, let's set up a proportion. We have 2 over 40 equals N over 80. And for our third step, let's find the missing term, which is N. To find the missing term, we are going to use the cross multiplication method. 80 times 2 is equal to 160. 40 times n is 40n. But we will only put 40. And the next step is we will divide. 160 divided by 40 is equal to 4. That means 4 limousines are needed to transport 80 people. And that's how we solve direct proportion. Next, we will be talking about inverse proportion. In an inverse proportion, one quantity increases as the other quantity decreases at the same rate and vice versa. For example, if 12 men can finish a building in 9 days, how many men can finish a building in 6 days? Here in the given situation, when the number of days decreases, the number of men increases. In solving in reverse proportion, the first step we need to know is to identify the quantities used in the problem, then set up a proportion as indirect by interchanging the position of n horizontally. Here we have number of men and the number of days. Now for 6 days, we're still looking for it, so let's put n first. Now the next step is to interchange the position of n horizontally. We interchange n horizontally to the given number 12. Then for the third step, use the cross multiplication method in order to find the missing term. Our given proportion is n over 9 equal to 12 over 6. Now we do cross multiplication. 6 times n is 6n, but let's write 6 only. 12 times 9 is 108. Now the next step is, I accidentally put multiplication, so I changed it into division because I was wrong. So we are supposed to use division in order to get the answer. So moving on. Now the next step is we divide 108 to 6. 108 divided by 6 is 18. Therefore, in order to finish a building in 6 days, we need 18 men. And that's how we solve in reverse proportion, inverse proportion. Now, let's move on to our next and final problem. Partitive proportion. So, what is partitive proportion? In a partitive proportion, a whole is divided into parts that is proportional to the given ratio. For example, a glass of jar has 64 candies. Lucas, Dustin, and Mike will share the candies in the ratio 1:1:2. How many candies will each one of them get? Here in the problem, we need to divide 64 into Lucas, Dustin, and Mike, considering the given ratio. Now, let's solve the problem. The first step is find the sum of the ratio by adding them together. Since the ratio is 1:1:2, let's add the numbers. 1 plus 1 plus 2 is equal to 4. Now the next step is divide the base by sum. The base is the total number of candies, which is 64. Let's divide 64 by the sum 4. 64 divided by 4 is equal to 16. And for our final step, let's multiply each quantity by the quotient. 16 times 1 is equal to 16, which is 16 candies for Lucas. 16 times 1 is equal to 16 candies for Dustin. 16 times 2 is equal to 32, which is 32 candies for Mike. Therefore, Lucas will get 16 candies, Dustin will get 16 candies, and Mike will get 32 candies. We can also check our answer by adding them. 16 plus 16 plus 32 is equal to 64, which is correct. And that's how we solve partitive proportion. Thanks for listening.